Hi all, myself Mohan Kumar representing DataSphere. Welcome you for this performance tuning presentation. What we're going to discuss now here is how to start performance tuning. Yes, how to start tuning. See, rather than asking how to start tuning, so we should ask why we want to tune, why we need to start tuning. Why we must start tuning is either to improve throughput or to improve response time. What do you mean by throughput? Throughput is nothing but completing the entire activity in short time as much as possible. Complete the entire activity in a short duration is called as throughput. What is response time? Getting the response first, not the completing entire activity. First response first is response time. We tune databases either for throughput or for response time. Then how to start is the question now. Let us see how to start tuning. How to start tuning is by gathering information. We need to gather information so that we can start tuning for optimal performance. See, if you want to gather information, we got two types of views. One is data dictionary views, the other is dynamic performance views. When we say data dictionary views, these views are based on data dictionary objects, data dictionary tables. And these views starts from db underscore all underscore user underscore. Okay, so we can use these views basically fundamentally for administration purpose. But if you want to use the views for tuning purposes, then we have to use dynamic performance views. See, these dynamic performance views are based on dynamic tables. We can call them as $x tables. See, these tables are populated when instance starts. And what are the activities that is going to happen, that information will be stored in these $x tables. Based on this, we're going to use the dynamic performance views, which normally start from $v or $v underscore $gv depending on the environment we're going to use. So these tables will contain information the moment instance starts and will be there for the duration of the instance running. So because of this, what are the information available in these tables which we are going to access through views will be helpful for tuning. See, longer the duration your instance is running, the performance available will be very useful for tuning purposes. But what is that minimum amount of time? Okay, so we should not use the information so that it is not valuable for tuning purposes. So minimum your instance should run for 6 hours in normal usage. Okay, so that information can be used for tuning purposes. Now, one of the major drawback of dynamic performance views are whenever the instance comes down, the information available will be lost. So again, when the instance is started, it is a new information. That information will not give you the information of your instance performance. To overcome this, so Oracle long back introduced utility so that we can use it for maintaining that information in a report. So Oracle introduced util bstat and util estat. Bstat means begin statistics, estat means end statistics. So these utilities are used using script files present under your script location in RDBMS. We need to execute those scripts. Okay, first is we have to run for util bstat, leave it for a duration. So after that duration, you run estat. It's going to generate a report file which will be having information about the performance details which was there in views will be collected. Means util bstat estat depends on views, dynamic performance views. So this was introduced long back. But what is the drawback of util bstat stat is, what are the report we are going to get from this utility is only for that specific period of time in which we have analyzed it or used it. But what is that if you want to compare between two different periods of time? So util bstat stat will not be helpful. To overcome this, Oracle introduced one more utility by name StatsPack. What is StatsPack? As the name itself says that statistics package means information regarding the performance which is there in dynamic performance views will be stored in a separate schema, can be maintained for longer duration. Periodically, the information of the performance will be captured from dynamic performance views in the form of snapshot, and these snapshots can be maintained for longer duration. Based on 2 periods of snapshots, we were able to generate a report which used to have additional information than the report generated by util bstat stat. So for example, so it used to contain top 5 SQL which are consuming more resources, top 5 weight events. Apart from this, we used to have a lot of additional admin informations. Even stats pack used to depend on dynamic performance views itself. Now when we consider either dynamic performance views or util bstat stat or even stats pack, so these were used by administrators. So Oracle gradually introduced a lot of automatic features to cater to that. Okay, so Oracle introduced one more component called as AWR, Automatic Workload Repository. What is the first advantage of AWR is there by default available with our database. So the information available in dynamic performance views is captured periodically, maintain the information for a duration of 8 days, and after that it used to purge. Again, even AWR also will depend on dynamic performance views itself. But what is the advantage of AWR is we can use it, administrators, automatic features can use it, and even advisors can use it. So that is the advantage of AWR. But if you see the information available in the report that we generate will be more or less similar to StatsPack. Now, whenever we gather information either directly using dynamic performance views or using the primitive tool util bstat stat or StatsPack or even using AWR will give us informations. So whenever we consider any of these facilities available now, for example, dynamic performance views, util bstat stat, StatsPack or AWR, will get information about all the areas for which so the information is available. So it is the responsibility of the administrators to identify in which particular area so the problem exists, which used to become an uphill task, but it was able to be performed because we used to have less number of instances to manage. But gradually what has happened is day by day the number of instances we have to manage has increased many folds. In that case, going through individual instance informations will become very tedious. To overcome this, Oracle has given a very useful tool called as ADDM, Automatic Database Diagnostic Monitor, which is going to run immediately after AWR collects the snapshot, and it is going to maintain its information within AWR itself. Means it depends on AWR, and even result is also stored along with AWR itself. What is that it will do is it is going to take help of information available in AWR, and it is going to give you the information about the areas in which the problems exist. Only in the area where problem exists, and based on that problem, it is going to give you the description, root cause, solutions, and also recommended solution. Means ADDM depends on AWR. Of late, Oracle has introduced many advisors where they will take help of ADM and also depends on AWR. So based on the information available, so they are going to give the advice. It can be your tuning, SQL tuning advisor, for example, or DB cache advisor, or it can be shared pool advisor. So advisors will give you advisors depending on information available in AWR, but they take help of ADM. So this is how we start tuning. Fundamentally, the two important components of collecting information is, one is dynamic performance views, the other is AWR. We can also consider ADM when we got many instances to manage, and also advisors to take advisors to decide what is that we have to tune on. Thank you for watching this presentation where I've given information about how to start performance tuning.